What's going on, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Texas Steel Podcast. I'm Pierce Trexler, joined always by my boy, Drake Greenstein. Back in the saddle, hopping in, about to give Week 2 recap as we go into Denver to face the Broncos. Obviously, coming off a Week 1 victory, feeling solid and good about that, but each new week brings each new tribulations, trials, and everything in between. So as we prep and take this next step, how you feeling about Week 2?
Feeling good, man. Especially the way the Broncos played against the Seahawks last
You're
week.
telling me.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Obviously, Denver is not in the best of positions right now. It seems like they're kind of in the middle of a rebuild. Obviously, we acquired Russell Wilson, so it looks like even with all of the money they're eating in that cap situation, they're kind of coming to terms with just not necessarily blowing it up, but completely being in the rebuild era. Bo Nix, obviously, rookie quarterback. We can go back and look at Tomlin's record against rookie quarterbacks. Generally,
24-6.
24-6. Obviously, C.J. Stroud got his ass last year. Brock Purdy did as well. Or I guess now Brock was already in the league.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, Tomlin generally handles these situations fairly good. And after seeing the way our defense played last week, man, I think we could hold them to under 10 points. Honestly, again, that's what we gave up last week. But this
He's going to
defense
be
is gonna
feeling
on
the
fire.
wrath
Oh, yeah,
of this
he's-
D-line.
he's
He's
gonna-
not going to be – I mean, this ain't nothing he's seen from college or even in the pros yet. So
For sure. So with that being said, obviously setting up Week 2 against the Denver Broncos, what do you feel like are some of our strengths, some of our weaknesses going in? Are there any glaring issues, or what do you like and dislike going in?
Yeah, so the things that I love, obviously, just the entire front seven and what the kind of pressure that we're going to put on a rookie
We're
quarterback.
imposing our will.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think Minka, I think all the guys in the secondary
Oh, yeah.
should try to be opportunistic.
Absolutely.
Because I think if it ain't TJ, bro, it's Ogunjobi. If it ain't Ogunjobi, it's Highsmith.
Hayward.
Hayward. I think we're going to be getting home a lot. And I was watching the highlights from the Broncos and Seahawks game, and, bro, it was just dink, dunk, dink, dunk.
3 yards here, 3 yards
Yeah,
there.
so I think we're going to be having you say that. You never know if, like, one of those Tomlin games will come in, but, like,
Hopefully those can save. Obviously, hopefully they don't occur at all. But generally, those tend to stumble around week 10 or whenever the
Yep.
games seem to mean the most. But
Yeah.
obviously, this one on paper seems like it's a layup or a cupcake. I think we're given 3.5 on the mix. Just a real quick thing. I know you were mentioning Bo Nix's play earlier on. One thing he does do relatively well is get the ball out quick. I think they averaged him down through college and even throughout the preseason. He's just floating around just under 2.5 seconds from catch to release. Whereas Justin Fields, who is getting the nod to start this game, Justin Fields will be out there in what should have been a revenge game for Russell Wilson. Unfortunately, he's not healthy enough to play, but Justin is getting the ball out in closer to 3.7 seconds. So obviously, Bo Nix likes to get the ball out quick, but I think we're going to be swarming that shit. So.
Yeah, he's a rookie quarterback. They got a little tight leash on him too. So we take away the dink and dunks. Let's actually see what he can do when the play's extended, and T.J. Watt is chasing after him.
You already know
yeah.
that man's got a motor, and it's just getting going as we start this season. But transitioning off the quarterback from the Denver squad and getting to the right guys. Quarterback one, Justin Fields, obviously. How do you feel?
You told me you got a lot to say.
Yeah,
what you got to say?
I just look at, obviously, if it were coming down to the point as if Russ was actually healthy, I feel like we would be seeing Russ. Like, I think this calf injury is something that has lingered much longer than, and maybe much more of an issue than it was made up to be ever in training camp or even to where we are sitting here, obviously with Russ sitting out another week. But I truly think the calf thing is holding him back. Again, last week, Justin Fields won us the game. He didn't lose us the game, but I don't think he did enough to cement himself as the starter moving forward. Obviously, when we got Hall of Fame quarterback, sitting 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winning guy on the sideline. Obviously, when he's healthy to go, I think he's going to take over if that time ever does come, though, because inevitably we look at what calf injuries lead to, and it generally leads to Achilles injury, which with an older quarterback, we saw Kirk Cousins And Aaron Rodgers over the past couple of seasons struggle through that, and obviously Russ is getting up there
Calves
with
are no
age.
joke, bro.
We know that it could
An
lead.
Achilles
And
injury.
but that's also why.
Look at CMC.
Oh yeah,
He just got put on the IR today, less than an hour ago.
so bad, so bad. And again, it's nothing to really joke over anything, but I just do think that it was kind of initially played off to be as, oh, just a little, he needs to stretch it out. It's a little tight, but now it's obviously something that's lingering and more detrimental than what was let on.
But I mean, do you see the reports that I sent you from Jared Dulac? Steelers Insider says that they're planning to start Justin these next 2 games. Not only this game, but also the home opener versus the Chargers.
Which will be an electric one.
That'll be an electric, but ultimately, bro, this whole situation is bigger than just a calf injury, bro. This is literally, in some ways, man. Like I'm not trying to exaggerate anything. These next 2 games determine the outcome of this season and the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. Because you're looking at a guy, we're essentially going to be taste testing whether this is going to be our franchise quarterback. And if you see any signs of, oh, well, Justin looks a little bit better than what we saw in Chicago. Maybe if he is put in the right position and put around weapons in a good system and good coaching, this is the Justin Fields that was taken in the first round as a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And so at this point, bro, like, really, he wins in Denver, which I expect him to do, even if he, plays somewhat like he did in Atlanta, where he didn't lose us the game, maybe didn't win us the game, just did his job.
Yeah.
Then goes on, wins the home opener against LA, bro. I don't think we look back. I think we keep going and ride with it. It's nothing against Russ. I mean, yes.
We ain't tied to any of these quarterbacks right now.
Yes.
We are not married to any of these quarterbacks.
Do I lean towards Justin? Yes. But even if I take away my bias, still from a coaching perspective, Tomlin said it best. We're in the business of winning.
Absolutely.
And if Tomlin is seeing W's on the schedule, then I don't think he does anything to change that, much like how he handled with Kenny and Mason.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to agree. If we go 3-0, why would you take out the hot hand? You know what I'm saying? Even if we're not winning because of him, but obviously he's shown some flash and scrambling. I feel like if he didn't pick up a few of those crucial third downs, we might not be here celebrating a week 1 victory. So obviously if he gets the keys and goes 3-0.
The chemistry too, like the whole purpose like of the first half of the season, like Tom Brady was talking about it on like these first few games of the season, honestly, like he didn't take too much of he took everything with a grain of salt, but it is important to build the chemistry and see what you got.
For sure.
And I just think if you're 3-0, you not only have the wins, but you're starting to build the chemistry. So Najee Harris, Warren, Pickens, all of your skill players get used to playing with a certain quarterback. Because, maybe Russ
You
played...
saw that deep ball connection was real between Justin and GP.
Oh, yeah, it's legitimate, bro. But I'm just thinking, all these skill players, they're getting used to the timing, the cadence of Justin Fields, the leadership of what he brings to the team. And while Russ, brings a leadership style, Russ is in a different stage. He's a different quarterback now than Justin Fields. He doesn't have that scrambling ability. Sometimes, with Russ, he's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But
Always
with Justin, bro, he could escape, and now you got GP.
The play's alive.
Yeah, the play is alive. So there's so many, now you have read option plays being called with the Steelers. So
And again, this was also with a very limited week 1 playbook by Arthur Smith, given the nod to Justin 24 hours before kickoff. So this guy... and it based off the first to the second half of last week's game, we saw the playbook open up in the second half alone. So that doesn't concern me. I think Justin is going to obviously have the keys a little bit more. The playbook's going to open for him heading into this game. But Russell Wilson, man, obviously super unfortunate situation. Wanting to come in here, kind of cement himself as the franchise guy, but he's handled this in no other way but a professional standpoint. So really just can't be upset with his professionalism through all of this. And if Justin goes down, obviously I still feel confident with Russ being able to go in there and back him up. But like you said, if our O-line was going to have issues at this time, like we might have suspected with the young cast and crew in there, I'd rather have the quarterback that can escape, get out, and keep the play alive instead of take a loss of 7, 8, or whatever the sack would entail. But think he's going to be good. Think the playbook's going to open up. What do you feel like are going to be our biggest problems going into Denver to keep us from getting that dub?
Yeah, I mean, just based off the tape and what people are saying, I think Denver's defense is a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. Obviously, the big name, PS2, Patrick Surtain is going to be on George Pickens. And look, he had to deal with A.J. Terrell, but in my humble opinion, I think Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in the league.
That's what I was going to say. I think thankfully, we're getting this out under our belts early because this should probably be GP's toughest matchup of the season. So it's great to throw him in there with not a conclusive wide receiver 2 and see how you can sink or swim against the best alphas versus alpha. Who's going to come out 2 dogs, 1 bone, as Mike Tomlin likes to say. But I like seeing this challenge early. If he is him, we will see that. I just want at least another. I'm not asking for a 100-yard game out of GP. Give me
No. What I was gonna say is, let's just say to be conservative, let's say Surtain nullifies GP as a weapon. What I say, that's what'll be our biggest problem is I think Surtain will give GP problems, and the thing is, who steps up then? Roman Wilson was a full participant Thursday and Friday in practice.
Need it.
Will Roman Wilson in his first debut start to take receptions?
Give me 50 from Roman and we can pull out of
just
here.
Give me 2 clutch catches on 3rd downs. That's all I'll ask for. But
Pat Muth, come on.
That's what I was gonna say. You sign your 4-year deal, bro. Show the money, man. Yep. Show me what makes the money. I want to see a big game from Freiermuth. For viewers that don't know, who's given up the most yards to tight ends within the last 2 years? It's been the Denver Broncos. This could be the Muth feasting game.
Oh yeah.
Just as long as we scheme up to get him open, and obviously you have Van Jefferson, the other cats, Calvin Austin. But I'm looking at Pat Freiermuth and the debut of Roman Wilson to kind of counteract what we're going to see from Denver's defense.
Most definitely. I think the run game still obviously is going to get after it. Let's hope to see maybe a little uptick in participation from Jaylen Warren. Obviously still coming back, trying to get to full health from that hamstring injury suffered earlier in the preseason. But again, I'm cool with Najee taking the brunt end. I mean, I thought our rushing attack looked great in Atlanta, so obviously still some flaws to patch, but for the first game of this O-line meshing, I thought we held our ground and did pretty good, and I don't expect things to change going into this week. So
predictions, what do you think?
We get into the end zone, I will say that. I think
yes, we will get our first touchdown of the season.
We have to get a touchdown this one. Again, I want to go out there and say we light it up, but just basing off reality and how things have gone in the past, I think we get our points, but I don't think we blow the doors off. I'm going to roll in and say defense does their job as well, holds it down, limits them. I'm going to go out a limb and say 24-13 in our favor. Steelers get it done. We get a few tuds. Boz stays automatic with his foot. Defense plays with their lights out. Think Minka gets a pick in this game. Bo Nix is going to be rattled. I think TJ gets another sack or so. I think this could be also a Peyton Wilson heyday game. Obviously, I don't know. For those that didn't know, Patrick Queen also is dealing with a bit of an injury, unfortunately.
Oh, the groin.
So if he's not going to be able to fully step up, that's going to leave it between Roberts and Peyton Wilson. So I think we're going to see an increased tick of snaps from his end. Keep an eye out for 41. I think he's going to have a hell of a game.
24-13?
24-13.
9, okay. Okay, so a lot's riding from a statistical standpoint on this game. Let me give you a little insight. I don't know if you've seen this, but teams that go 2-0, essentially 81% of the time go to the playoffs. Now, when you start 0-2, there's a huge drop off to, I think, almost like 21%. All right, so a lot's riding from a statistical standpoint. The reason I bring that up is because, obviously, the Steelers, it's so critical to jump off to a good start. And for Denver, being in an 0-2 hole is a terrible place to be. So you're going to see two teams, one's looking to really springboard themselves into, what should be a successful season. One's trying to salvage it before it ends. What I see is you see the home opener. There's going to be a lot of excitement in Denver. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, but I do think we are going to edge this one out. I say 23-20. I say a crap ton of field goals, a lot of bend don't break from our defense. I think you're going to see Bo Nix scramble a lot. I think he's going to continue to dink and dunk. And then for any plays that run, I don't think we're going to see a lot of deep shots from Bo Nix. If he does, I think
We got some ball hawks.
Yeah, I
back
think
there.
the ball hawks
Yeah.
will be there. But I think in order to counteract that, I think Bo Nix is going to be on the run, running for yards. So I say 23-20. I see Denver sticking around. We suck on the West Coast. We've lost
Tomlin's
the
record.
Raiders on the
Yeah.
West Coast. We've lost to Denver multiple
All the
times
Cali
on the
teams,
West
it
Coast.
seems like.
I can't even remember the last time we won on the West Coast. But
We pulled it out. Kenny Pickett against the Rams.
against the Rams.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
of any
We won
one
one in
else.
Arizona
Yeah.
too with Duck. But yeah, those West Coast games. I mean, Tomlin has like a below
Kryptonite
40%.
for it,
Yeah. And Denver, man, they always give us issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Think back to the Tim Tebow playoff.
yeah,
game.
exactly.
First play.
And then there's been so many. But yeah, I see us in a close one. I see this one actually not being decided until the fourth. Maybe Boz gets a walk off or one that's like with 4 minutes left, and then we kind of like hold ground in the fourth. But
Either way, we're excited for it. Week 2 got a little late afternoon slate, so not quite prime time, but it'll feel a little more that atmosphere. Super excited for it. Let's hope that the AFC North can continue to tick downwards as well. Think Ravens got a little cupcake, but Browns and the Bengals obviously got some more challenging games. So we'll see if we can continue to uphold the first in the North mindset and see where we can jump the ranks in the AFC division as a whole.
yeah, let's do it, baby.
Hey, well, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. You guys tune in for the next one where we'll be covering the hopefully dub after this one. But until next time, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.